Hey everyone, how's it going? Nice to see you. Hey! Alright, are you in for this treat? Are you ready? We're going to talk about how to heal your frozen shoulder. So maybe you've had frozen shoulder in the past, maybe you're dealing with it right now. Maybe you just have some shoulder issues that you'd like to take care of. This is it. This is perfect. We're going to do a two-part series. First part is we're going to do some stretches. So we will get your shoulders back and down. We will get your shoulders with more range of motion, even into your neck too. So all of the neck stretches that we've been doing up until this point will be beneficial to help with your frozen shoulder too, or any shoulder issues, as they say, that you've been working on. So what is frozen shoulder? I know that it's a term that's been going around a lot, and whether you know what it is or not, I'll give you a little breakdown of what we're working with. So frozen shoulder is when your scapula won't move properly. So when you're reaching for something, instead of just your arm going up, your whole shoulder reaches with you. And that's because your scapula, which is that bone in your back here, it's actually too tight to your back, and the fascia and the muscles are too tight for your shoulder to actually move in the proper range of motion. So what we want to do is we want to give some more movement into that scapula, so that instead of reaching like this to get something, you're going to be able to reach just like that. So we really need shoulder mobility more than anything, especially when we're texting all the time. Shoulders are forward. That creates frozen shoulder as well. That's kind of what I've been working on with myself, is having frozen shoulder because of massaging and always being above someone and pushing down, and also with the phone too. I mean, it's kind of heavy. I don't know how many pounds this is, but having this in front of you for 1 hour, even some people 3 or 4 hours a day, that can create the shoulders coming forward, tightness in here, and then the scapula not being able to move properly as well. So again, that's the freezing of the shoulder, if you will. So when you have frozen shoulder too, it tenses all of your muscles around the shoulder joint and the capsule. So the shoulder joint is different than the hip joint. The hip joint has a ball and socket, so the femur, the leg bone, goes right into the hip, whereas the shoulders aren't quite so deep. They're a lot more shallow, so it kind of sits, the humerus sits like this as opposed to tucked in there nicely. So when there's an imbalance of muscles from either the front, the back, or even underneath in the shoulder, that can create a stuckness, quote unquote stuckness, and then create that frozen shoulder too. So Janice, happy Friday, beautiful. This exercise is a game changer. Remember how long it took mine to heal? Exactly. I mean, frozen shoulder, it takes a long time. It takes a while to get into, but then it takes a while to get out of too. However, the good thing I noticed is that when you heal, it takes less time to heal than to get into the trauma or the issue. So yeah, but it really is a long-term thing. So mobility and stretching of the shoulders is the most important thing that you can do on a day-to-day consistent basis, just even if you don't have frozen shoulder, to ensure that you're always moving the joint in its full range of motion. And anytime a joint can go in its full range of motion, there will never be tightness, tension, pain, frozen shoulder, any issue that you have. So as I say, all the muscles around the shoulder will be affected with frozen shoulder too. So let's get into doing some stuff, because doing is always more fun than just sitting around. So I want you to do arm circles. That's what we're going to do. First off, and that's to get the range of motion, to get everything lubricated, if you will, and moving. So just, if you want to, I'll stand here. move your arm forward as best as you can, just doing circles. They don't have to be fast. They can be super slow if you want. But trying to get that full range of motion. Can you bring your arm all the way back and all the way forward? If you can't, that's okay. Just go to where it feels comfortable. And then when that feels good, we're going to switch to going backwards. I kind of miss all of those aerobics classes. You know how they used to be on TV and they would do it at the gym? Jane Fonda's, all those things. I kind of miss those because they really have good range of motion. Like, she really knows what she's talking about. So it's funny, I chose this one too because I've been working on my own frozen shoulder that I've had for, well, a very long time, since I've been massaging. And yeah, let's switch to the other one. So you can either go backwards or you can go forwards. But yeah, when I was just doing that on the right side here, it was starting to feel tired on the front of my shoulder. So I don't know if you noticed that too. But that's okay. It just means that things are moving around. I mean, arm circles shouldn't really be that hard, but it might be if you're unable to really move your shoulders. So if that feels good, let's go forward. It's funny, sometimes I think I should just do like an aerobics class and do that for our Friday thing. That'd be fun. But then I'd have to learn all the moves and everything else, so I don't know, who knows? It's quite interesting, so maybe I'll at some point in my life do that. Okay, how does that feel? Let's shake that off. I feel some tiredness in the front of my shoulders, and that's a lot of the times where the frozen shoulder stems from, is the front. So doing that internal rotation, just like I'm massaging like this, that brings the shoulders forward, and then that traps the scapula here. So you're not able to move quite as well. So arm circles are great. You can do them all day, every day if you want. The more range of motion, the better. So that's good. And then I wanted to do pec major stretches. So that's the full pec. So it goes just under the breast, and then it attaches onto the arm here. So that's a good one. That's going to take you from here and open you up here so that the scapula can move. So that's the whole thing, is we want that bone right here. We want that scapula to be able to move. So you're going to have a 90 degree with your arm. You're going to go to a wall. You're going to put your arm here on the 90 degrees, and you're going to step forward. If you have a doorway, that's even better because you can go into the door and then step through it. Or you just do the 90 degrees, put your arm against the wall, and you're going to step forward. And you're going to hold that for 15 to 30 seconds. So I'll show you this side too, just in case it's a better visual. Okay, so I'm still going to do the left first, but you'll be able to feel an opening here and less tightness. So you're stretching that big pec muscle. And remember, you want a 90 degrees because that's going to stretch this whole thing. I'll show you the pec liner after, and it's a little bit different. But yeah, 90 degrees and then forward. So again, you're going to feel that all here. So if you've held for 15 to 30 seconds, that's great. Now move on to the next one. Sorry, I don't have another wall, so you have to see my back for a minute, but carry on, do your own thing. Good. So again, those stretches are to open up this area of your body. We did one the first week that I did the stretches, And you can also open up your chest by stretching like that. So it really is about opening all of this so that we're not in this position anymore. See how that's where the scapula are? And they get stuck like that. So we want to open everything up. So that's why we did the arm circles, pec major, and now the pec minor. So this one is just underneath the pec major. It's right here. It's a very small muscle, but it's a very important muscle. It also goes over top of the brachial plexus, which goes from your neck. So it takes all the nerves, arteries, veins, and it goes under that pec minor, and then it goes down the arm. So if you ever have any numbness or tingling, especially in these two fingers, that could potentially be that pec minor is tight, and you just need to stretch that so that you don't have that numbness or tingling in your fingers. All right, so that one helps to, again, open everything up so that the frozen shoulder goes away so that your scapulas can move. So we're trying to get from here to here. So opening so the scapula can move. So you're going to put your palm down on the wall, a little bit higher than what we did with the pec major. So arm a little bit higher like that. You're going to bring your shoulder back and down. See how I did that? So get this. This is the important piece, right? Is you need your shoulder back and down. See how I did that again? And then you're going to step forward. If you're stretching your left, you're going to step forward with your left foot. And that's going to put you into a deep stretch of that pec minor. Okay, so I'll do it again. If you feel like you've got to keep stretching, but palm up, you're going to bring that shoulder back and down. Again, not here, here. And then you're going to step forward with your left if you're stretching your left. So you're going to feel some tightness, trying to release in the anterior deltoid, so the front part of the shoulder, and then down into the pec minor here, which is just a little spot on underneath the pec major. So hold that for 15 to 30 seconds. If you feel any numbness or tingling, obviously stop, shake it off. And let's do it one more time so you get the feel of that. So palm to the wall, up here, shoulder back and down. Not here, here. And then step forward. And you're going to feel a pull or a tension here. And a little bit on the front of your shoulder. Good. So hold that 15 to 30 seconds. And then you can shake it off. Shake it off. I love doing these arm shake offs, shakes, shakeroonies, because it really just relaxes everything. If we're really tight holding things all the time, even if we sleep like this, sometimes we can get really tight and all the fascia gets basically too tight so that it's constricting things. So shake it off. Okay. So now I'm going to go the other way, so you'll see my back. But remember, your hand is going to be up on the wall. Your shoulder's going to be back and down. And then you're going to step forward with that right foot. So I'm stretching my right. So I'm going to step forward with my right. So palm down, up here, shoulder back and down, and then step forward with my right. If you do have a lot of range of motion, you'll notice your arm can go back even further. But mine's not so stretchy right now. So again, palm to the wall, shoulder back and down, and step forward. So hold it for 15 to 30 seconds. Or if you're having any numbness or tingling, just bring your arm down, relax, and shake it off. Truthfully, that feels so good. It almost feels like euphoric to me. I obviously need to do this stretch more. So thanks for joining me. Always remember the shoulder back and down. And truthfully, if you can relax your shoulders, then you'll be able to relax your hips more too. So that was another thing I wanted to mention, is that some causes of frozen shoulder are inflammation. So if you've already got shoulder issues, then the inflammation can create more issues to then progress to frozen shoulder. Decreased range of motion. So again, with the texting, let's say you never move your arms from here, the range of motion will not be good enough for your shoulders to prevent frozen shoulder. And then repetitive strain injuries. So let's say you have to do this all the time, but then everything gets tight and you start doing it like this, then that will create tightness in that scapula so that you get that frozen shoulder too. I want to do a bicep stretch. So bicep, it attaches here and it attaches up on the scapula. So there's two biceps. One attaches up here, one attaches down here into the armpit. But because bicep goes forward and like this, so it's got flexion and supination, we put the bicep into a stretch that goes the opposite way. So we actually bring it back, down, and like that. So we're taking the flexion, taking the flexion out of here, and then we're gonna pronate. So this will be straight, this will be straight, and the back of your hand will actually be on the wall. So I will show you with my right so that you can kind of see the back. So remember, we're going to have the arm behind us, it's going to be straight, and then we're going to put the palm on the wall, not like this. So this will give you a super mega stretch. You see how I did that? So hand down like this. Here, can I show you? There. And then you're going to kind of step forward a little bit. So that, you should feel it here in your bicep. However, I feel it a little bit in the anterior deltoid here, just because that's more tight on me than my bicep is. But regardless, bicep stretches are great. So we'll do it again. So your arm's going to be behind you, your elbow straight, and your back of your hand on the wall. So hold that for 15 to 30 seconds. Hopefully you're doing well. Sorry I'm quiet. It feels good though, so hopefully you find the same. Okay, so I'm going to show you the other side too. So remember, like this. So my arm is back here. It's the back of my hand on the wall, and I'm going to step forward. So that's going to stretch that whole arm out. So why I chose a bicep to stretch that is because you need to stretch every muscle that attaches to the scapula. So every muscle that, that attaches to the scapula will get tight if the scapula is stuck in frozen shoulder. So if you go the opposite way and you relax all of those muscles, then the scapula will have an easier chance and opportunity to get back into its proper position. It will also help to relax any fascial issues, which is a connective tissue. So all these stretches will relax that too, so that the scapula can actually come back and down instead of staying stuck. So we want it to come down. We want the scapula to come down so that your shoulders can come down, so that you can actually do this and open up. You want your solar plexus to be able to open up. You don't want it to be like this. It's not good. It's not good for you. It's not good for your digestion. Yeah, if frozen shoulder is left untreated, it can create tears in your muscles, in the labrum, which is inside the shoulder joint. Fascial tears, so any fascial adhesions or restrictions, it can actually tear that fascia, which is that connective tissue. It can affect your hips. So if you have shoulders like this, your vertebrae naturally wants to balance. So you'd probably get something like this, forward and hyperlordotic curve. And it also creates digestive issues too. So the more that we're open and the scapula can come back and down, the less digestive issues that you have. Okay, so we did arm circles, we did pec major, pec minor, bicep stretches. So I just want to do one more. Let's shake it off. And then we'll do some neck stretches again, which is what we normally do. I feel like anytime we stretch, the neck needs to be involved. We as a society didn't have this issue before, but now again with the phones, we're always sitting like this. And I mean, there's probably something to do with our digestive health in there too, because our solar plexus is here, our stomach is here, gallbladder, pancreas, spleen, stomach, large intestine, all of like diaphragm. If we're eating foods that don't agree with us, then we're naturally going to have a tightness here, which then brings the shoulder forward, and that can create frozen shoulder too. So opening all of this up will help to improve digestion as well. So let's shake off the arms. Shake them off. Shake them off. Just let them go willy-nilly. It looks hilarious. But this is exactly what I do. If I've been doing a lot of massaging, then I need to really relax all of my arms instead of being tight like this. So you can do one at a time. You can do both at one time. Totally up to you. Who cares if you got a flabby tricep moving around? No big deal. Just get all that tension out of there. It feels really good. Okay, so last one, we'll go through those neck stretches one more time. Let me bring you down a little bit because we're going to have a seat. You can sit on the floor. You can sit on a pillow, whatever you feel like. But remember, we're going to sit on top of our hand like this. So choose one or the other. I'm choosing my right. I'm going to sit on my right, and with my left, I'm going to pull gently to the other side. And that's going to have a nice stretch right in here. And all of these muscles, if they don't necessarily attach to the scapula, they attach to the clavicle and around the neck. And so when the neck is relaxed, then the scapula can naturally come down as well. But if everything's tight in here, then all of the shoulders will come up and bother the scapula. We don't want scapulas being bothered. Right? That feels nice. So you can reset, come to the side, and then come forward, and then we'll go to the back like we normally do. So how's the weather going? It's cold here again. I don't know what that's all about, but yeah, it's kind of disappointing to tell you the honest truth. But that's okay. That's just what happens when you live north, I guess. And then forward. Oh, that's a good one right here. So yeah, congratulations for doing your stretches. Your body's really going to thank you for this. And all of these basic body foundations that we're doing every Friday helps to not only lose weight, it helps you to have more body awareness and understanding of what your body needs. When you really have a solid foundation, not only in the stretching, but in the mind-body connection, you'll be able to make better, more authoritative decisions. So sit here. And you'll have a sense of more freedom and power in your life. The more that you understand what your body's doing, the more empowering or empowered you are. Um, Being a nurse for so long, and it was like 10 and a half years, I think I worked in the hospital. Jeez, I don't know where I was going with that. I just literally went off, my brain went off on a tangent. I don't know, something about body awareness. Oh, I remember what it was. Sorry. What I decided when I was a nurse in the hospital and I saw lots of crazy stuff, I decided that I wanted to have full autonomy over my own health, which meant I needed to understand what my body did so that I could ask myself what I needed as opposed to asking someone else what my body needed. Because I've been living in my body 40 years now, so I know more about my body than anyone else. And the doctors do the best that they can, but realistically, it has to be fairly generic, because they don't know exactly what's going on in your body the way that you do. So they can only guide us in a specific way. They can't say this is the forever fix, the end all be all, and that's okay. Like they're just a person just like the rest of us trying to do the best that they can. But really, if you know what's going on in your body, you know what it needs. So having this mind-body connection that we have every Friday as we do these stretches and strengthening, it helps to empower you to know what to do next. So I'm just sharing the information that I've learned, whether that's in nursing school, being a nurse, massage school, being a massage therapist, my fitness background, and even just my own trial and error of my body. So I'm providing information, but it's up to you to do something with it. So even just as you're stretching right now, asking yourself, what do I need? Body, what do you need? Or can I let go anymore? Am I holding a tightness in the stretch? Do I, need to breathe a bit deeper into that? What is it exactly that my body needs right now? Even moment to moment. What do I need? Do I need to say, hey, I don't feel very good. Do I need a nap? Do I need to watch a funny movie? Do I need to do some journaling? I just got sick last week. I never get sick. And I think what happened was I wasn't paying attention to my body. I could tell I couldn't catch a deep breath. And so instead of saying, okay, I need to just rest, I just kept pushing forward and then ended up needing, well, it's been over a week now, to just recover and get into some journaling, because I realized what was happening was I was holding on to resentments and frustrations and pains and all that, and I really just needed to relax and take care of myself and ask myself what I needed. And I've been on a meditation journey this past week, and holy moly, it feels so good. So that's something I will not cut out of my life anymore, because I think meditation is the most euphoric feeling that anyone could ever get. The more I get all the things in my life that I've ever wanted, the less I need those things to give me a high or a thrill. And the only thing that's scratching the itch of feeling that euphoria is meditation. And it's pretty crazy, because some days I'm like, well, why doesn't this chocolate bar make me feel really good? And it's like, well, because it's not what we're made of. It's not the real deal. It's not getting close to God and all that stuff. So that's what I learned. Get into meditation and you'll get sick way less. Even more, even less, even more less, even lesser. Jeez. Clearly I was sick. My brain's not working. Anyway, I hope you had a good time with the stretches. So remember, do some arm circles, stretch your pec major, stretch your pec minor, do your bicep stretch, and then do your arm shakes, and then do the neck stretches. So that'll all help get rid of any frozen shoulder. And next week we're going to do strengthening so that we can keep those stretches in the right spot, keep the body in the right spot after the stretches, and keep them strong and in the right spot. Okay, clearly brain's tired now. Okay, I'll see you next week. Yeah, okay, bye. Okay, bye. Thanks for coming. Enjoy.